He likes basketball and golf. He's a friend and his phone number is 111-222-333. Yes, save it please. And now we should see the contact appearing here quickly. And as you can see, the John Smith showed up here. Let's be real. I thought I had my contacts under control until I actually needed to find someone. And suddenly I was digging through emails, LinkedIn, Notion, Apple Contacts, just hoping something would pop up. I couldn't grow my network like that. I couldn't build meaningful relationships like that. And I definitely couldn't run a modern business like that. That was the gap I needed to solve. And today, I will show you exactly how I did it. In this video, I will walk you through the exact setup I use to manage all my contacts with Notion and multi-agent AI assistant that lets me add, edit, search, and update everything just by talking. If you've ever felt like your contacts are scattered, outdated, or straight up chaos, this is going to fix that. If you're new here, I'm Matt and I'm building a complete AI-powered life management system in Notion. It's a system that helps you manage your goals, actions, time, knowledge, and contacts, all in one place. This video is a part of the bigger journey. I'm releasing 16 parts one by one, and today we are starting with the very first one, which is Contacts Board combined with an AI assistant that helps you manage your contacts, interactions, and relationships. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, I recently published a full intro video to this whole series. It's linked right here on the screen, so feel free to check it out after this one if you're curious. Also, on my website, you will find the full roadmap of all 16 parts that are coming. If you want to follow this journey as it unfolds, hit subscribe. There is a lot more coming. Okay, here is the real talk. Most of us are bad at managing our contacts. Not because we don't care, but because the systems suck. Your contacts are scattered across tools, you forget names, forget how you know someone, you don't follow up, and you miss big opportunities. And honestly, it's exhausting trying to keep it all in your head. This system fixes all of that. Imagine all your contacts, their attributes, interactions, and relationships in one smart searchable place. No more guessing where someone's details are. No more jumping between tools. You speak, and the system adds a new contact with all the details. You recall a name, and it instantly shows you who they are, where you met, and when was the last time you talked. You follow up, and it tracks the entire relationship. You finally get structure without much effort. So now, let me show you how this system actually works. First, let me walk you through the contacts board, which is the core of the entire system. And at the heart of this board, we have contacts database where all your relationships live. Each contact is assigned to one of several groups like family, friends, colleagues, business contacts, and more. And once we open particular contact, we will see detailed information about each contact. On the top, we see group, we see nationality, nickname, and follow-up date, which is the date where we should reach out to that particular person. Then below, we see the section with contact information, and we store information like phone number, WhatsApp number, email, website, different social links. And below, each contact is enriched with some attributes like locations, where they live or operate, industries they work in, companies they work for, services they offer, skills they have, languages they know, interests they have, and also tags. I think these ones are self-explanatory, and tags are for cases where we want to mark contact with particular information that doesn't really fit any of the attributes above. So something like digital nomad, vegan, business owner, etc. And each of these attributes types is a separate Notion database. So if we scroll down here, we will see all these attributes, so we can filter contacts by pretty much any attribute that we have in Notion. So for example, if we want to see all the contacts that are linked to Warsaw, then we just open Warsaw and we see all the contacts that have Warsaw assigned in their location field. And here we have views for different attributes like countries, which is for actually nationality, industries, companies, etc. Now, beyond just contacts, the system also tracks interactions that you have with people, and these live in separate database called interactions, and each interaction can have one of the following types: online meeting, in-person meeting, phone call, message, and few more. And for each type, we have also separate view, so you can easily filter interactions by particular type. And for each interaction, we store information like type, the date of this interaction, contacts that are assigned to this interaction, because the interaction can be with one person, but it can also be with multiple people. So for example, if we are on the Zoom call with 3 people, we can assign all of them to just one interaction, and we can also save notes from that meeting. And let me open some example with notes. For example, this one. As you can see, we can have notes from the call or from even in-person meeting. And also we store the summary. So thanks to this database, you can have all your interactions with all the notes from these interactions, either online or offline, stored, documented, and searchable in one place. The third piece of the system is the relations database. So this is where you map who knows who in your network. So for example, you can save who is the mentor of someone, or some family ties, like who is cousin of someone in your network, who introduced you to another person. So you can start building the map of all the relations between all the contacts in your network. So to create a relation, we just specify the contact A. So we link contact A from the database of contacts with the contact B, and then we name the relation, like previously managed, mentor of, introduced to you by, etc. And if we open any given contact, like for example John Doe, then besides these contact information, attributes, etc., which I showed you before, we can also see all the interactions with that contact, and we can see all the relations that are saved for this contact in your database. I also forgot to mention when we were discussing the content part about the to refer and referral notes. And this is for cases when you have a friend that, for example, has a business and they offered you a fee for referring someone to their service. So for example, for every client you refer to them, you get 20%. So I would mark that person as to refer, and I would save something like offered 20% fee for referring their service, something like that. Over the right side of the board, you will see the follow-up panel, and here the follow-ups are grouped into overdue, which are the ones you have missed, and upcoming, the ones that are due soon, and everything is sorted by next follow-up date, which you assign directly on each contact, as I mentioned previously here. And below that, you've got the neglected contacts panel. And this one tracks how long it's been since your last interaction with each contact. It uses the timestamp from interactions database to sort them by day since the last contact. So for example, for Lucas Novak, the last interaction we had saved in Notion was 50 days ago. And for Olivia Bennett, it was 48 days ago. So it uses this date here in interactions database to calculate how many days passed from the last interaction with each contact. So at the top, you will see the most neglected people in your network, and these are the ones you might want to reconnect with quickly. They are grouped into already interacted, which are contacts with at least one past interaction in Notion database, and also no interaction yet, which are contacts you have added but haven't engaged with yet, or at least you haven't saved any interaction with them in Notion. And you can also filter neglected contacts by the group. So for example, you can see all the neglected contacts from family group or from friends group, etc. And on the top of the board, you will see 3 buttons: add contact, add interaction, and add relation. And these are for adding manually contacts, interactions, and relations. And for 99% of the cases, you will probably be adding any data to this board with AI Assistant, which I will tell you about in a second. But if you for some reason want to add data manually, the forms are here for you. Now let me show you how the AI Assistant works. And to access the assistant, you have to go to my website, executionmasterywithmatt.com, and just click app, or just type app.executionmasterywithmatt.com. And once you are signed in, you will see the history of your conversations with agent on the left. Then in the center, you will see the active conversation, and below you have the input field for actually interacting with the agent. And there are 2 ways to interact with the agent. You can type your message, but if you prefer talking, which I highly recommend because it's much faster, you can just click this microphone icon here, just say your message, and once you hit OK, your message will be transcribed and inserted into this input field, so it's ready to send. You can also access the AI agent right inside the Notion board. Just open the toggle on the top, AI agent, and the app interface will show up. So now you can interact with your board just by typing here and seeing the results below. But quick heads up here, because it's embedded as an iframe in Notion, it doesn't have access to your microphone. So if you click microphone icon here and say your message and then hit OK, nothing will show up. It's a limitation on the Notion side, and I really hope they change it someday. But for now, we have 2 options. The first option is to use the app in the separate web browser, as I just showed you. And the second option is to use your native dictation on your computer. So for example, on my Mac, if I hit Command key twice, the dictation option will appear, and whatever I say will show up in any input field on my computer, even here in Notion. So as you can see, I can easily dictate my message to the agent, and then once I hit enter, it will be sent. Just above the embedded agent, you will see toggle agent capabilities, and once you open it, you will see table listing all the features that the agent currently supports with short description of each, and also the example message which you can use to test the particular feature. So now let's walk through each of that, and at first we will start with saving new contact along with interaction. So let me open new chat, and I will actually dictate this usage example message in the window here. So to see both at the same time, I can actually make it smaller, because you can make it bigger and smaller easily just by dragging here. So let's make it like that. Okay, now I will hit Command key twice. I met John Smith during IT conference today. He's JavaScript developer from Boston and works for XYZ company in cryptocurrencies industry. He likes basketball and golf. He's a friend and his phone number is 111-222-333. And then I just hit enter. Okay, so now the agent will intelligently try to match all the attributes from the database, because for example, we said cryptocurrencies industry, and if we check our attributes database for industries, then we see that we already have crypto industry. And cryptocurrencies is the same thing, but just with different wording. And we want to avoid situation where the agent would save multiple industries that are pretty much the same industry, but just named differently. So now the agent will go through all the attributes in Notion and will try to match any existing attributes that are already there. And if they are matched, it will just link them. If there are no matches found, it will create these attributes first and then link them to the contact we are saving. So let's make it bigger now. So now the agent will summarize everything that will be saved, and we see that the two attributes to be created will be XYZ company, because we don't have such company in our company's database yet, and also golf in our interests database. Below we will see the contact to be added with all the data that will be saved for that particular contact, and also it cut the interaction from our message, because we said that we met John Smith during IT conference today, which means we had interaction with John Smith, and it also picked it up and it will be saved in interactions database. So let me say, yes, save it please. And now we should see, okay, let's turn off the dictation. And now we should see the contact appearing here quickly. And as you can see, the John Smith showed up here. And also we see the message that the contact for John Smith has been successfully saved to the database. And let's check the attributes and the data. So we see the phone number, we see the attributes Boston, crypto. It didn't use cryptocurrencies as we specified in our message. Here it used crypto, which was already in Notion, which is great because we don't want to duplicate such crypto and cryptocurrencies. So we see skills, JavaScript, great, interest, basketball. So basketball was already there, golf was not there, so it was created and linked to that contact. And then if we check interactions, we see that this interaction has been also saved and linked to John Smith. And if we scroll down here, we also see it here. The second feature is to save just interactions with the contacts that are already in our database. For example, at the end of each day, I might want to save all the interactions with the contacts I already added before. So for example, I have in my database Clara Rodriguez already, and I just want to save the interaction with her. So I will say, I had a call with Clara Rodriguez today. We discussed potential collaboration. And now again, the agent intelligently will try to figure out if I already have someone with the similar name, because I don't have to use exact spelling. If I misspelled her name, or if I used not capital but small letters, it will still pick up that I already have this contact, Clara Rodriguez, and it will ask me if I want to save this data. So the contact that was matched is Clara Rodriguez, of course. Then interaction details is name, phone call is the type, the date is today. And if I don't specify the date, it will also use the date of the entry, so the date of today. And then the quick summary, which is discussed potential collaboration with Clara. So let's save it. And now we should see the interactions showing up here quickly. Yep, as you can see, it's here, potential collaboration discussion, Clara Rodriguez. If we open Clara Rodriguez, we can of course see that interaction showing up here as well. The next feature is to save relations between existing contacts in your database. So if I say, John Smith works with Clara Rodriguez. So now the agent will try to find both contacts. If it does find both of them, it will just ask you for confirmation if you want to save it. If it doesn't find any of the contacts, it will also tell you and it will ask you for clarification. If it finds multiple contacts, for example, if I said John and I had John Smith and also John Doe in my Notion database, it would ask me for clarification which John I meant. And then I specify which John I want to create relation for. And then I just say, yes, that's right, you can save it. And now we should see the relation showing up here. As we can see, it's already there. And again, if we open, for example, John Smith, if we go to Relations tab, we will see this relation which was just created. Sometimes I might want to find some contacts for defined attributes. Like, for example, if I say, do I know any Spaniards from Barcelona that work in health tech? Now the agent will parse the attributes, check if they exist in Notion, and if they do, it will create the filter, and then it will use the filter to see if I have any contacts matching this filter in Notion. And as you can see, Sara Fernandez is matching the filter because she's from Spain, she has Barcelona as one of her locations, and she has health tech as one of her industries. So I can easily search my contacts by just saying what I want. And then if I want to see the example in which none of the contacts match my filter, I can say something like, do I know any Spaniards from Madrid who works in biotechnology? And now the list should be empty because I actually don't have anybody from Spain and Madrid who works in biotechnology. And as you can see, the agent told me I couldn't find any contacts matching your criteria. And I can also show you Sara Fernandez to make sure everything is right. Yeah, nationality Spain, locations Barcelona, and industries health tech. Perfect. I could also search contacts by the next follow-up date, and I could also mix this follow-up date with the other filters like in the previous example, but now let's use this example. Do I have any follow-ups next week? And let's dictate it. Do I have any follow-ups next week? And as you can see, I actually have 3 follow-ups next week, and the agent picked it up and provided me all of them in the very nice table. Sometimes I may want to find specific contact information to a specific person. So if I say, give me John Smith's phone number, please. Now the agent should check the John Smith, his phone number, and provide us whatever we are asking for. And as we can see, we got it. And then the next example could be pulling all the information about particular contact. So let's say, can you pull data for Sara Fernandez? And now instead of giving us the specific information like in the previous example, the agent will give us all the data that we have for this particular contact in our Notion database. So you can see all the contact information, all the attributes, additional information, etc. The agent can also edit the existing contact. So if I say, change John Smith's number to 222-444-666 and his group to family. Now the agent should ask us for confirmation, of course, and then once we confirm, we should see, let's turn off the dictation. Once we confirm, let's say yes, we should see the phone number and the group changing quickly. Yeah, and as we can see, the group is now family and the number is 222-444-666 as we requested. If you want this system for yourself, head over to my website. On the homepage, you will find the full roadmap with all 16 parts. If one catches your eye, you can leave your email and we will notify you when it drops. And if you are specifically interested in the full contact system, which is the next major release, join the waitlist. You will get early access and a 50% discount when it launches. This is just the beginning. And if you've ever felt like managing your network was a mess, it doesn't have to be anymore. Follow the series, watch it unfold, and when you are ready, get your own system set up. So that wraps the first video of the series. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.